All right, we are at Media Row, presented by Toyota, and we're sitting in our Lazy Boy recliners. Long live the lazy. And because Barry Sanders is here, I decided to bring in the Honolulu Blue recliner for you. Barry, that's what we think of you here in San Francisco. That's the kind of respect we give you.
I appreciate that, man. Did a good job. It's close to Honolulu Blue.
Yeah.
It's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, we're running through a filter, make it more like
Right, there you go.
It's great to see you. You look great. I know you had some health issues recently. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate it. The summer of 2024, June of 2024, I experienced a heart attack. Didn't even know what it was. I woke up, there was like a small burning in my chest. I assumed it was like heartburn. And so, which, through this process, I'm learning that a lot of heart attack and stroke victims don't really know the signs, and so my situation was sort of common in that sense. So, glad to be here today, just working with Amgen, informing people, to go see your doctor, see where you are as far as your LDLC number, know your number. The only way to find out is to go to your doctor. So if hopefully people will go to attackheartdisease.com/documentary, kind of find out what your testing options are. And the earlier you can find out, the better, for this. But yeah, it's been a real education for me. But to answer your question, I'm doing much better.
When you go through something like that, does it just change your perspective on life and everything you've accomplished in your life?
For me, absolutely. And then also meeting with others who've had similar things happen. I was also able to take part in a documentary, and where I'm sort of sharing my story, but I'm also sort of, I'm also sort of initiating a conversation between other heart attack and stroke victims, and just learning what some people have gone through, and just learning about risk factors. Like sometimes it's not that you're doing anything wrong; it could be hereditary or whatever. It's been a real education. And again, people can go to attackheartdisease.com/documentary, find out the testing options, and really go to your doctor, and because the earlier the better in this case.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you spending time with us and sharing your story. I did want to ask you a couple of 49ers questions. Roger Craig goes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You guys are now peers. You guys are now on the same team. What are your thoughts when I ask you about Roger Craig and what he brought to the table as an NFL running back?
Roger is a guy I've always looked up to, and just competing against him. I even had the opportunity to come out to the Bay Area as a young player, train with Roger Craig. I mean, many of us from that era have heard about Roger Craig's workout, and so had a chance to just be around him and see how like the real pros like him train and work out. What he got out of his talent, the way he ran with such intensity, and just the well-rounded player that he was. I almost am tempted to say I'm surprised he wasn't already in the Hall of Fame, honestly. But I know with so many great players that the 49ers had, is sometimes that plays into, sort of how soon you get in or whether you get in at all, right? But just a phenomenal player. Like I said at the start, I mean, someone that he would have been in the NFL a couple years before me, and so for me to go from a fan to again being able to be around him, see his work ethic, and just see how he approached the game, and just enjoy the success that those guys had, right, and that Niners dynasty that they had, and he was a big part of that, right? And it just really did my heart good to see that.
Yeah, that's great. And then also Frank Gore did not make it in the first ballot, but he's number 3 all-time leading rusher, 16,000 yards. What do you remember from seeing Frank Gore, and what impressed you about him?
Oh yeah, Frank. I think I remember Frank because at some point I know he passes me on the all-time list. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many years he played.
16.
Was it 16? Wow. Yeah. I mean, Frank just doing, tough, hard-nosed runner. good speed, and he had some phenomenal years here with the Niners. And obviously coming out of University of Miami, I believe it was, with all those great players. And I wouldn't be surprised at some point you feel like you'd have to put him in.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time as far as that. But yeah, Frank was a great player.
Yeah. Barry Sanders, one of the best, if not the best, the most dynamic runner I've ever seen in my lifetime. So, Barry, thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with us.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.